Welcome to Mahala Monday. Absolutely brilliant to have with us this morning. My name is Dougal. Good morning. And yes, Rhoda, everybody.
Good morning, Dougal. Welcome to the Mahala Monday show, everybody.
Yeah, no, fantastic to have you along with us. Hope you had a great weekend, but this is definitely the boost you need to start your week because, oh boy, as always here on Mahala Monday, exciting things to talk about. And that is certainly the case today. I'm actually really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, same this side. And you know what is a topic that basically everybody out there, it is a hot topic. Everybody's discussing it, everybody's talking about it. And you know, it's actually quite nice to be able to actually chat to the experts out there to be able to give us a bit of more information exactly what's happening out there.
Yeah, no, it certainly is. And what we're doing today, of course, is definitely a show that is going to go a long way. But I actually don't want to waste any time. I want to get straight into it because it is super exciting. But most importantly, it is an interactive show. So we welcome your comments and your questions. You are part of the show. And of course, you will then steer the course of the show. So the things you want to know, that is what is most important. But before we go any further, as we always say, you got to like and subscribe this, okay? So like and share this video and subscribe, of course, to the channel so you can get everything that there is. Now, it is the month of June, which is, of course, Youth Month, isn't it?
That is
my month.
Almost definitely. You are youth. Yes,
I'm a youth.
You're youth. Definitely youth.
What age do you have?
I think it's 35. Yeah. So you, I think you missed it completely there.
No, man. I might, yeah. Listen, call me youthy, experienced youthy.
Yeah,
that's what I would be.
Mentally, definitely still in the youth category. I would say that, definitely.
I'm not going to ask you. Yeah. But be as it may, it is what it is. All right, so yes, it is the month of June. It is Youth Month. And one of the very, very important topics that have come up, and especially when it comes to unemployment. And I know it might be a bit of an apple nobody wants to bite it, but it is a serious conversation that needs to be had. And when it comes to youth unemployment. But more importantly, just any employment. And wouldn't it be fantastic, Rhoda, if there was a platform or at least some sort of group or organization where entrepreneurs, which we all know is definitely, that is the backbone of any economy, a thriving economy going forward. Wouldn't it be brilliant if there was like some sort of platform where like-minded entrepreneurs could share ideas, innovate together, a platform where a workspace could be created. You sort of feed off one another, if I can put it that way.
Exactly.
Wouldn't that be fantastic?
Beautiful. Yeah.
The question is, do they exist?
Dougal, that is exactly why we're having the show this morning, because you know what? We actually have somebody in a company that actually does exist.
Yeah, that absolutely does exist. So when we're talking game changers, it doesn't get better than that, because joining us today on Mahala Monday is Dion Kellerman, and we're going to talk exactly about those things that we have just mentioned. So Dion, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us on Mahala Monday. There he is. How's it, man? How are you?
Good morning. Good morning, fantastic. Thanks for having me. Very, very nice being here. Thank you, Rhoda. Thank you, Dougal.
No, absolutely brilliant having you on this morning. And listen, me and Rhoda were just talking about it and actually just sort of setting it up that it is, of course, an issue that needs something. But now the reason we have you on, firstly, and we're going to delve into all of this because we were now talking about creating a space where people can, like-minded people can share and, of course, sort of get that boost, but also innovate together, which is super, super important. But what is it? What is it exactly that you do? What is your role, Dion? Which kind of explains why we have you on the show. I leave it to you.
Well, you guys made such a lot of talk about experts, so now you're putting me a bit on the spot now. But let's go for it, right? Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, Africa IT Hubs and Dion Kellerman are sort of one and the same. So Dion Kellerman is the managing director at Africa IT Hubs, and that's what we're going to be talking today. Africa IT Hubs is a platform that you just spoke about in terms of innovating, collaborating, and it's not only aimed at entrepreneurs, but across the board. And we're going to touch on a few things just to share with you guys what exactly it is that we do at Africa IT Hubs. But I'm going to take a step back and say Dion Kellerman is the managing director at Africa IT Hubs, and that's what I do.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I want to jump straight into it then, exactly. And you tell us then, what does Africa IT Hubs do?
Before I tell you, let me just tell you something else.
Okay.
One of the things that the journey of an entrepreneur is probably the first day when he decides he's going to start a business. That's the most exciting day that a businessman and entrepreneur is going to have. And then the next day, when he understands he's now going to do the business, and there's nobody around that's going to hold his hand, there's nobody around to provide resources, there's nobody else around. And that's the most daunting part about starting a business and being an entrepreneur, is where do you go? Where's the lifeline? Where's the advice? Who's there to hold your hand? Do you have somebody? And that's exactly what Africa IT Hubs is about. It's providing a network of like-minded people that not only talks about their wins, but also talks about their losses, and creates a platform where people all the way from 14 years old, yes, 14 years old, when you start a business, there's no age limit of starting a business. When you start a business, there's multiple problems. And we sort of segmented into 4 different avenues. Is 14 to 18, and we like to call that our grassroots section.
Okay.
So those are the learners, those are the students, those are the kids that are at school. That perhaps shows affinity for culture, sport, anything along those lines, but it's always aimed at business. It's always aimed at entrepreneurship, because that's where we know we need to focus on entrepreneurship. That's what we're going to be focusing on. Then we go from there, we go to semi-skilled, skilled, and obviously entrepreneurship. I'm going to tell you a little bit about each sector. So we touched on grassroots for a quick moment. We go to semi-skilled. And what we do at semi-skilled is we're talking to people that are salespeople, people that are account managers, people that are in that specific sphere. They're just trying to enhance their skills also. So they're not specifically entrepreneurs at heart, but they do have entrepreneurs' neural ambition, and they are wanting to make a difference in the life of themselves and also in the lives of other businesses, potential that are entrepreneurs. So they might need some development in terms of soft skills, and all the fancy things like emotional intelligence. And we have a whole host of courses to assist them. Then I want to touch on something very important in terms of entrepreneurs. When somebody goes to varsity and they finish their degree, and they're now a doctor, a dentist, an actuary, a lawyer, whatever it might be, the immediate notion in majority of people's minds is that they're going to really pass very well so that they can go work for a large corporate. They want to wear a tie, they want to sit behind a desk. And they actually have the ability to be a small business themselves. And by virtue of a lawyer opening their own practice, all of a sudden they are now able to employ a receptionist. They are able to employ a junior attorney. They are able to provide candidate programs. They are able to train other like-minded people and provide skills in that specific space to become an entrepreneur. But the mindset needs to change from going to work for a corporate and actually identify, well, I am a resource, I am a skilled individual, and I have the ability to employ others. And that's probably the quickest win and the lowest hanging fruit in terms of entrepreneurship that we have. Then we talk about entrepreneurship itself and people that are starting off and just going into business. So these are people that say, today I'm going into business, or they have a side hustle, whatever it might be. They don't know what to do and where to go. Or maybe they do, but we're there to provide that additional skills that speaks to the accounting programs, that speaks to the networking programs, that speaks to how they take their business and scale it from 1 to 10 to 10 to 20 to 30 to 40. And there's various ways that we do that. We obviously engage with them and create like-minded people in a room, and we start engaging, and we really sort of take it out. Yeah, but go for it. You have a question.
Dion, I want to ask you, so when we're talking about people that you would then aid, these are not just people who's got the idea, I woke up this morning, I'm going to start a business, so I'm going to phone Dion at Africa IT Hubs. This could even be somebody who's had a business for a little bit of a while, a couple of years even.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Dougal. It's very important that we understand the difference between a startup business and startup versus somebody that's been in business for a very long time. So a startup business is at a completely different phase of where it's at, right? It's at the startup phase.
Yeah.
So the resources that they require are completely different to somebody that perhaps has been in business in 5 years' time. He's had a couple of knocks. He's had a couple of losses. He's paid some school fees, and now he's potentially wanting to scale up his business, train their staff, get HR practices in place, get compliance matters in place. They might want to start going into business and tender. There's a various list of compliance and procedures that needs to be in place there also. So not only do we deal with the compliance matters, but we also deal with the matters of how do we make this business a lot more efficient, that we can look at the bottom line, and they have additional cash flow to scale up and to provide resources that can obviously assist them in doing so.
Okay. All right. Now that is super important. So what I wanted to ask you now, and I just want to sort of shift it a little bit, to tell us more about the origins of Africa IT Hubs and why this business was established. Did you identify the vast need for this?
Dougal, it's yes, we did. So the short answer is yes, we did. And how we did is, I'm not sure if you can remember how far ago you studied, and when you studied and where you studied, but I do. And going to varsity was sort of a rite of passage. You weren't sure what you're going to go and study.
Yeah.
Your peers around you wasn't sure what they were going to study, but you knew for certain after matric you had to go and study. What it might be, you'll figure it out as you go along. So you might have gone into a BCom marketing, but you were actually an engineer at heart. You might have gone into an LLB, but you're actually a creative at heart. And the more time that we started spending with some of these students, and we noticed, well, they don't even know what they're studying. They don't even know what they're going to be doing with their BCom marketing. They don't even know what they're going to be doing with the LLB or whatever it is that they might be studying. They don't understand if the skill that they are studying or the skill that they are harnessing is actually fit for the market. And is there a space for them? Are they going to be able to find a job? Because nowadays, it doesn't matter how great you are on paper. There's someone else just as great without the paper, because skills are not only formalized. Skills are skills. And if there's a gap that can be filled with that specific skill, that's great, and doesn't only speak to formal education. So the origins of Africa IT Hubs looked at that and went, how do we help the large population of 34% that's currently unemployed find jobs?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, how do you do that?
Gee whiz.
Well, we're talking about the SME space, and the SME space provides work to 50 to 60% to the workforce, so the African workforce. 50 to 60% comes out of the SME space. So that's the actual number. Then we've got to look at how does that affect the GDP. 34% is a number that is affected the GDP from SMMEs. So it's clear as day that we need to be focusing on the SMMEs.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to directly impact our unemployment market.
Yeah.
So the question is how? And that's what you're asking, how. Now, I don't have all the answers. I really don't have all the answers. We are just trying to make a difference to the unemployment market. And how we do that is by assisting the lawyers, like we said earlier on, the doctors, the dentists, and the young students to go all the way and understand that entrepreneurial spirit doesn't only start when you have money. It also starts at 14 years old when you're going through the entire process. So that's basically what we're trying to achieve. Yeah.
Because Dion, you know what? To what you have said now, I mean, we just saw a slide as well that sort of featured SADC and US, American, as well as opposed to European and British, UK numbers, and from population to in terms of unemployment, youth, unemployment, even just the global GDP share. I mean, our numbers, as far as SADC is concerned, are we being dwarfed? I mean, it's except for the population. We're competitive there, but you don't want that.
Well, yes, Dougal. I mean, if we look at the figures and we compare it to a country like Australia, right? What we're doing in our SME space and the contribution in terms of 34% in South Africa is what we're currently contributing in South Africa. Australia is contributing upwards of 57% to the GDP in the SMEs. So it's clear that if we're wanting to make a difference in the unemployment market, we're going to need to focus on SMMEs. So I'm going to open up a little bit of a can of worms right now.
Go for it.
And bear with me, please. Bear with me. Why would anybody want to become an entrepreneur and a businessman? Why? And I'm going to open a can of worms, so go with me on this journey, right? It's once you become an entrepreneur and you're self-employed, and there's a difference. So you open up a business and now you sign your own paycheck. When you declare your amount of money to start, you've got to pay tax, and obviously you get a salary advice. You can't take out a cell phone contract. You can't buy a car. You can't get a mortgage. You can't do any of those things. Why in your right mind would you want to become an entrepreneur? Why? Why? There's no support from the public that says, So when I say public, I'm speaking specifically state, that says anything that you can do as an entrepreneur, we will give you a tax rebate for, like they do in the States. So in South Africa, my employees or Google's employees are more credit worthy than Google himself or Dion himself.
So true.
So how are we motivating entrepreneurship in South Africa? Other than saying, come to Dion and Africa IT Hubs and let me show you skills. Yeah, well, once you have the skills, how are you going to get the funding? How are you going to get the support? Because we all know money is important, but it's not the only thing that's important. So we really need to tackle a whole host of issues in terms of what state also needs to play and what role state needs to play in terms of providing a platform for engagement for entrepreneurs to actually succeed.
You know what, and what you're saying, sorry, Rhoda, what you're saying is the truest thing. Why would anybody want to do it? Because you're not going to get any push. You're not going to get any help. I mean, and then you've got all the, I don't want to say stress, but you know, you've got all of that because you've got to make it work. It is what it is. You've got to make it work.
Yeah, sorry, Dougal. And just listening to you, and I'm immediately gone back to the budget speech and our president speaking back not so long ago regarding the small businesses. And, you know, he made it look so rosy and he made it look so beautiful, having to have a small business, starting up a small business. He really made it look so beautiful. But in reality, and having to start up and chatting to a lot of people as well, the red tape within government having for small businesses, it is crazy. And I mean, this is one of the topics that was discussed in the budget as well, the red tape. Well, as far as I'm concerned, a lot of that still has not changed. And it is quite difficult for small businesses out there, you know, and this is why I'm loving Africa IT Hub. You know, it's really exactly what the small businesses need out there. Like you said, you can give you the skills, you can assist. It really comes down to the worms that we're just chatting about. Exactly, the red tape, you know, making it sound so rosy.
No, it is. It is. Do you know what? I saw a comment flashing on the screen there just a short moment ago as well. And it's from Anthony. How's it, Anthony? Thank you for watching. It says, scaling up a business has been my challenge. And specifically to you, Dion, it says, we need to chat. But what I want to move into, Dion, is sort of the next phase. And Anthony, you must chat. You must chat. Paint the picture for me. Paint the picture for me. Here's a startup, somebody who's about to start. How does Africa IT Hubs, firstly, 8 startups with the basics that is now needed for you to sort of run your business, while focusing on building entrepreneurs? Because these are two different things.
Yes, you're 100% right, Dougal. I think the everyone wants to be an entrepreneur, but entrepreneurship is a little bit down the line. You first start with one business. Yeah. So you hit the nail on the head there, right? And yes, so what does Africa IT Hubs do? So Africa IT Hubs will first walk with you. So immediately, and we don't pull the punches at all. We are a business first, and we're a sustainable business. So we also need to make sure that the people that comes on board are the right people. So when you're starting a business and you ask Africa IT Hubs to assist, we evaluate you as a person. We want to know that you as an individual have a few failures, have what it takes, have put in the effort in terms of a business plan. We'll work with you on your business plan. We'll show you where to go. We'll show you all the compliance and regulatory structures that need to be in place, because you don't know. Yeah. Like Rhoda just alluded to earlier on, you don't know. There's so much red tape. You don't know. You're not supposed to know. You cannot get on the block, right? We're there to assist you. We're there to show you, what does your business plan look like? What's important in a business plan? And we all know that's been in business a few years or even just a few weeks. Business doesn't happen on a spreadsheet. It happens in the real world. Exactly. However, you do need a reference point, or at least some sort of direction to show what you are trying to achieve. And that starts with the business plan. So when you come on board to Africa IT Hubs, the very, very, very first starting point is a business plan. Okay. Let's get you up and running, and let's show you what a business plan looks like. Let's identify you with the pros, your cons, your SWOT analysis, all those fancy things, your unique, your USP and your unique selling point for those people that don't know. But fundamentally, what we also want our startup businesses to know is there's 2 things that you need to do when you come to Africa IT Hubs. Is you're either competing with a product or you're competing with a service. Yeah. We don't want tender entrepreneurs. Wow. We don't want people that are a business on paper. We want people to understand the only color that matters is green. And in order to be a player in the market space and to have some sort of market share, is to have a sound quality product and a sound quality service. And we maintain how you are able to achieve that. If you come to us with a product, we'll show you how to do it better. Where to cut the cost, where to achieve the bottom line, how to work better with your vendors, how to work better with your third parties, how to have better negotiation skills, how to have better soft skills in general. And if you're coming with a different service, how to engage and collaborate, like to allude to it, I think it's Anthony Porter asked earlier on, how do you scale up a business? We go back a few steps and we go, how do you refine the process of your service to maintain that you are able to scale up at a later stage? What is your business plan? So go back to your business plan, go back to day one and say, was this in my business plan and how do I amend my business plan as we go along? And those are the things that we assist startup businesses with, is a business plan, mentorship, guidance, and it never stops. And obviously we give them access to market. And obviously there's lots of like-minded people in the network that also provides opportunities to these startup businesses in terms of distribution that they would never have dreamt of before.
I was going to ask you that, Dion, because now obviously there's the Dougal business who's now part of Africa IT Hubs, there's the Rhoda business, there's the Dion business. Surely this is a platform for the three of us to sort of exchange ideas and collaborate and sort of move onwards.
100%. And that's the whole point of Africa IT Hubs. It's a collaborative space where, as Rhoda mentioned, of innovation. So the three of us have an idea, how are we going to collaborate and how are we going to maintain that we don't cannibalize each other, but we rather complement each other in terms of service, so that we can have a holistic service and provide a lot better than somebody else for that matter. And sometimes people are looking for that specialized personal service that Rhoda, Dougal, and Dion has to offer, as opposed to those larger corporates out there. And by virtue of collaborating in terms of complementary collaboration, we are able to still adhere to the service quality of a large corporate, but still provide that personal skills that we that personal attention to detail that we can. So yes, you're 100% right. It's a network of people. Like-minded people can collaborate, share ideas, and have complementary services on top of each other. Yes, so that we can obviously have a bigger scale of the market share. Yes, 100% do you.
Yeah. Okay. And we're looking at a slide there that was obviously telling the whole story of the support network for young professionals. So from mentors, you mentioned that access to funding, which I'm sure is that the first one? It's always the first one in my mind.
No. We're gonna disagree there.
Exactly.
Excuse me. So that being said, yes, we do provide funding. We do a vetting process. We align ourselves with potential entrepreneurs and startups in terms of where they are in their journey. So you mentioned earlier, are you a startup? Are you in business for a few years? Are you entrepreneurship? Are you an entrepreneur? Where are you in your life cycle of running a business? And how exposed are you? How experienced are you? And based on that, our vetting process will then assign a sum of money to you, and we'll scale it over a 3 to 5 month period, depending on obviously how you do and how you fare. And thereafter, it's not the end of the road. We will walk another journey with you. Yeah. But I rather want to come back a little bit, and you just mentioned something now about mentorship. Yeah. Right. The mentorship and the money, they go hand in hand. You know, we've learned at Africa IT Hubs, we've had startups that come and we've given them a whole boatload of money. But if you don't know what to do with the money, it's lost. That's absolutely lost. So I know and I understand people that are starting business, they hear me and hear me very clearly. You don't need money to start a business. And I know that's probably the most frustrating thing for somebody to hear that's trying to start a business that goes, I just need $100, or I just need $1,000, or I just need $10,000, and I'll go and buy it. You don't need money to start a business. You need an idea and you need grit. You really need a good solid idea, and you need grit. And that's sort of what we've learned, is that we can teach people all day long in terms of how to do it, why to do it, how to refine the process. Yeah. And without money, if they really want to be an entrepreneur and they really want to be in business, they'll find a way. Exactly. Without the 100 Rand or the 1,000 Rand or whatever the handout that is required. And that will also teach people that they need to provide a sound product and a sound service if they do want to compete in the market. Because it doesn't make any sense if Africa IT Hubs is subsidizing the ability.
Yeah.
Because a year down the line, they're going to have a sound product or a service to be able to compete in that market. Otherwise, they're going to be bust in 6 months to a year. And it might not be nice to hear, but you do not need money to go into business. Forget about it. If you need money to go into business, stay out of business.
Exactly. And just on that as well, Dion, and this is one of the big pitfalls for a lot of startup businesses. I think when they see companies like you or they see any other companies, they always tend to think finance, they see money. Big downfall. Because, this is something we've learned through the years as well as business, is the fact that, and I've seen it with a lot of other companies as well, where they're getting funding, they're getting money, but, down the line, then everything is gone. And on top of that as well, money doesn't just get given to you necessarily on your lap. In most cases, you need to pay this money back. Yeah. So, obviously, at the end of the day, you need to make business to be able to pay that money back. So, this idea of people thinking they're getting money, you still actually need to pay that money back. And, if you're not going to be wise on finances and thinking that you're going into business just because I'm going to get funding to be able to assist my business, you're doing this all wrong. So I'm loving the fact that you're highlighting the fact that it's not just about money, it's about that grit, it's about basically pushing that extra mile, and actually basically getting your hands dirty and hitting the trenches.
Well, yes, Schroeder. I think, and I couldn't agree more. You hit the nail on the head, and I'm going to maybe share something with you. I'm sure everyone in business knows Vusi Tembekwai is one of our African leaders, and great spokesperson for Africa. And he said, when you're going into business and you're going to have a chicken farm or sell eggs, nobody's going to go and buy a farm so that you can sell eggs. How about you go in the corner and you sell the eggs? Exactly. Buy the eggs in pallets from the distributor or the wholesaler and go and sell eggs and learn. Learn how to negotiate. Learn what the cost of the egg is. Learn what the price of the packaging is. Learn how to handle it. Learn how to sell. Develop those skills so that you can train the people that's coming after you. Then you go up to the next stage and you buy a couple of chickens and you start selling eggs from your own self so that you have a better bottom line. Eventually you'll save up enough money and you'll buy the bloody farm. But to start with, nobody's going to give you money to buy a farm so that you can go and sell eggs on the corner. That's not how the world works.
And it comes back to the thing you said in the beginning, grit. Now, Dion, in closing, I actually want to ask you this, and I want you just to mull your mind over this as well, because I want to touch base on a comment quickly as well that we saw which was kind of cements of what you just said a short moment ago. But also, I want to find out from you success stories. So obviously, people have come through the mill. You've helped people with this. Is there any success stories that you could share with us?
Yes, no, absolutely. I mean, we have some great success stories. I mean, there's someone called Kirsten Wickham. She started with us. Hold me to it. Don't hold me to it, but she started with us about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And she started, very bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and she came and put down this fantastic business plan. She's going to buy a treadmill, and she's a biokineticist, sorry, by the way. And she's going to buy a treadmill. She's going to open up her own biokineticist shop. She's got a treadmill. She's got a bicycle. She's got this heart machine. It's only going to cost 500,000 rand, which is good. Can we provide the funding? I said, there's absolutely no way. You need to learn some school fees first. You've got your master's in bio, and that's great, but now you don't have any lessons in terms of business. How about you go back to the drawing board?
Exactly.
And like we said earlier on, business doesn't start on a spreadsheet, right? It starts in the real world. So you're going to have to get some grit and get some lessons behind the belt. And 2 years later, she does have a practice. We have assisted her with terms of how to go about it, how to get funding. We've given her some funding, but also how to go out there and get funding. What are people looking for? What does your business plan mean? How do you get the sales going? What does that sales mean? How do you manage your cash flow? What does SARS want from you? What is the expectation in terms of what people are looking at? How do you develop a brand? How do you develop a website? What do you need to pay back SARS? What is the IT-34? There's a whole host of things. But at the end of the day, 2 years later, she's running a business. She's able to sustain herself, and she's able to draw her income and pay away. And I think that's probably one of the best and most gratifying things in terms of being part of Africa IT Hubs and being the main director at Africa IT Hubs is seeing somebody come in with an idea, with some grit, and being completely bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and then you kill the fire, and then if they have enough grit, you'll slowly rebuild that fire with them, and hopefully they'll go all the way through. And who knows, maybe she has a couple of practices to come. And that's only one of them. There's lots of stories in terms of success stories, but that's just one that really stands out and one that I wanted to share with you guys.
Thanks for that.
This morning,
so Dion, you got satellite branches across the place. I mean, it's easy enough to get. How would people get in touch with you?
Yeah, look, please. I mean, come onto our website. In fact, I'm not going to give you any information. www.africaithubs.co.za or .com, both available. We've got branches right across the Western Cape. In South Africa, we also got branches in Windhoek, Namibia, which opens up a whole different discussion, a whole different network for discussion purposes. And obviously, by virtue of having a footprint in SADC, it also gives our members the opportunity for massive opportunities and also to engage on a different platform and open up international markets.
Yeah, I was going to tell you that, because that is exactly what happens. I mean, just imagine you all part of, all of that. And it's one of those things where you get to meet other people. I mean, just a basic thing. It is just meet, but also talk to somebody that might be at your level of business, your level of entrepreneur. Do you know what I mean? The challenges I'm facing as a startup is very different to a big conglomerate. Maybe one day I want to be a conglomerate, but you got to walk the will yet. So it is really great problem sharing, because it is not about there's no perfect answer, but it is what did you learn when you dealt with it? What did I do? What did this one do? And somehow, just because that is it, experience are the brilliant lessons, and having that sort of discussions and having that sort of conversations around with members would then be brilliant.
Dougal, so you just touched on something, and I don't want to hold you. I know we have a limited show or limited time on the show, but I mean, you just touched on something that's so important, and for that specific purpose, Africa IT Hubs has monthly engagements where we have virtual sessions, and we actually engage with all of our subscribers, depending on if they want to be part of it, and we do exactly what you just spoke about. We choose a topic for that specific week, for that specific month, and we engage. What did you go through? What sort of startup problems did you experience? What sort of scaling problems did you experience? What cash flow problems did you experience? What SaaS problems did you experience? How did you resolve it? What could we do? How could you change it? What could you do differently? And that's so important on what you just said, is that as a startup, your problems that you have is completely different to that of a corporate. Corporate has deep pockets. They've got very deep pockets. They can purchase any resources that they want. What you have as a startup is yourself and attention to detail and that personalized service and that personalized product. So work on what you have. Don't compete with a corporate. You cannot in terms of the resource allocation. Compete with what you have, and you will slowly scale up your product and service so that you can gain some market share and hopefully compete on that level at some stage in time. So those are the sort of discussions that we have. We will definitely engage with Anthony Porter, but this is a very, very valuable discussion that you've just opened up in terms of resources, allocation of resources, and depth of resources. It's massive. It's absolutely massive.
And Dion, going back to the very beginning, looking at unemployment, youth unemployment, these are things, of course, we all have our crosses to bear, if ever said in a way. But the one thing that is absolutely certain is that having sort of bigger empowerment when it comes to SMMEs, and pushing that entrepreneurship. And I think it is absolutely wonderful that you are doing this. I want to call it a youth program, but from as little as 14, I mean, that is just mind-blowing, because at that, and why I say it's mind-blowing, for me, that is I'm in awe, because up until you said it, I never thought of it. And I think it just harnesses where we want to go in terms of the future.
Well, I think you're 100% right, Dougal. I think, we need to start young and groom a talent and harness that talent and identify the talent. A lot of the time, those schools, those various institutions don't know where those resources are. So what we need to do is at 14 to 18 harness that talent and provide them a platform to engage and obviously to get better at those specific skills, and then put them into programs, engage with universities, engage with various social education houses so they can provide funding if that kid does have an affinity for something good, whether it be culture, sport, or business, it doesn't matter. Give him a platform to exude that ability. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, thank you so much for that, man. Thank you. Absolutely
We need another show.
Brilliant for you to come on, Dion, and we wish you all the best. And also, I'd like to congratulate you on this amazing initiative and everything else that you are doing with Africa IT Hubs. And I got to be honest with you, I think all businesses just do what you're doing, because that is the more the merrier, really. But in simple terms, you're like, yeah, wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And it's been such a pleasure having you on the show, and amazing insights and everything. So thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. Before you go, I must tell you that Alicia van Breda has also said, you know, that is the kind of thing you need. You need that sort of conglomerate conversations, because what does government need? One of the comments that she posted on earlier, which is absolutely brilliant. But Dion Kellerman, we wish you all the best. Thank you so much for coming on to it.
Thank you.
And on to Mahala Monday, and we wish you all the best. Thanks, man.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me, Rhoda. Thank you for having me, Juggled, and good luck with your show. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So that was Dion Kellerman, everybody, with Africa IT Hubs. And I tell you what, to use his words, he said he opened a bit of a can of worms, but it certainly is. But I love what they are doing, because it doesn't matter the size of your business.
Exactly.
You can't, and when I say help, it is just having that conversation.
It's just the conversation.
Like-minded people sharing, innovating together, and that is what it's all about. And, you know, just sort of exchanging everything as well. So I think that is just absolutely fantastic, Rona.
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Dion.
Yeah. So absolutely brilliant to have Dion with us. So what you got to do is, remember, you got to like and share the show. Now, where we wrap this up, because we're going away, but we're not going away. We're going to be back in just about 5 minutes' time. We will be back, because one of the very important aspects that Dion has brought up, we're actually going to talk about.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So come find out.
We're going to do exactly that, because when it comes to unemployment and youth unemployment, what can possibly be done? So we've got an idea or two.
Yes, we do.
Possibly.
Definitely.
We've got an idea or two. We're going to share that, but we'd also like to hear from you. So you don't want to go anywhere. You definitely want to watch it, and we'll be back with you in 5 minutes from now, right now. But for everybody who contributed to the show, for the wonderful questions and comments that came through, thank you so much for that. And once again, thank you very much to Dion Kellerman for the Africa IT Hubs, who came on and shared some wonderful insights. And what you got to go do is go check it out. So you go to the website, www.africaithubs or COSA, go check out all the details there and definitely get in touch with them. That wraps it up to us from now. You're on Mahala Monday, and we will be back in 5 minutes with another show, and we'll see you then. So like you say, like, share, what's the bell?
Exactly, and hit the bell.
Ding dong. Cheers, everybody.